This film is the true story of the Luciferian elite, the true history of the ancient Illuminati, who have created a global fascist dictatorship. Deus Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun god, was the sun god of the Roman Empire. The cult was created by the Roman Emperor Aurelian and offered prayers and sacrifices to the spirit of the sun. The spirit of the sun has a name. It is called the Solar Logos, and it is this spirit which the Roman Sol Invictus cult prayed to. The Romans held a festival on December the 25th called Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, the birthday of the unconquered sun. This festival has been transformed over time and is now called Christmas. The spirit inside the sun was incorporated into the ancient Egyptian cult of Amen-Ra. At the end of Christian prayers, the word Amen is a secret reference to the sun god of ancient Egypt, and a secret reference to the Solar Logos, the spirit of the sun.
Hawati en tawi, tem jefa kau, ta pen em awef, mu ef, ta ef, sem ef, menemenet ef nebet.
Just like our own sun, every star in the universe contains a spirit, and the most prominent constellations have been the subject of worship by Babylonians, Egyptians, Greeks, shamans, and druids since the dawn of time. In the classical literature of ancient Greece, the spirit of Jupiter was known as Zeus. It was the spirit of this planet which guided the political and spiritual lives of the royal political elite in ancient times. In fact, many of the angels and gods worshipped in the ancient world are actually spirits of planets and spirits of the stars.
Many Satanists throughout history have performed rituals to invoke the negative aspect of the Solar Logos personality. The negative, destructive aspect of the Solar Logos is known by all black magicians as the Black Sun. In the ancient world, an eclipse was considered to be a time when the negative aspect of the sun's spirit could be visibly seen, and across the world millions of animals, men, women and children were sacrificed at the time of the eclipse, or the black sun. Worship of the destructive spirit of the black sun is still going on to this day. This will be done, apparently, by mass killings of children around the world. Famine, pestilence, plague, and war will be used to kill thousands of children each day. In actual fact, before our very eyes, every day 26,000 children die from starvation and preventable diseases such as the common cold. Spirit of the sun is one of the highest secrets of world international Freemasonry, and at temples and sites which are controlled by Freemasons, we see many symbols representing the black sun. The Iron Cross of the Nazis is a symbol of the black sun.
Right now, billions of people are living in ignorance, whilst right before their very eyes, they watch the physical world being manipulated into violence, war, and chaos.
I command you. Feel my little orisons creeping up your spine. Lead us not into the sweaty murmurs of my rosary beads, the human hearts that I've taken into hell.
The Grimoire of the Red Dragon was originally a Hebrew text, and is often used by black magicians alongside another Jewish text called the First Grimoire Verum of Lucifer. The first translation of the Verum Grimoire of Lucifer was by a Dominican Jesuit called Plangier. It has been a cherished source of demonic information amongst Jesuits since the time of the Alumbrados sect led by Ignatius Loyola, which inspired, in turn, Adam Weishaupt to form his Illuminati Masonic secret society in Bavaria during the 1700s. The Grimoire Verum includes many prayers directed towards Lucifer.
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
I've resigned. I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. My life is my own. My life is my own.
What do you want?
My life is my own. Information.
I want information. What do you want?
That would be telling. Information.
You won't get it. I am not a number. I am a free man. I am a free man. Free man.
This evilarchy does exist, and that the eye on the pyramid is the eye not only of Horus but the eye of Lucifer. And if you take a look at the symbology in London, you take a look at the Illuminati Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas, you take a look at structures all over the world. They have told us what they are doing. They have identified themselves. We are identifying the enemy. We have identified the enemy.
Throughout the ages, the ruling elite have known that man is not alone in the universe. There is archaeological evidence which suggests that long ago, planet Earth was visited by extraterrestrials, and these alien beings have been mythologized as gods into our religious systems. Cuneiform tablets and cylinder seals made in ancient Iraq, the former kingdom of Babylon, tell the story of two extraterrestrial star gods coming to Earth and genetically manipulating mankind. These alien star gods were called Enlil and Enki. Their alien race was called the Anunnaki, which roughly translated means princes of the royal genetic seed. Of these alien beings takes many forms, and the royal political elite have built special temples and lodges all over planet Earth, where ceremonies are performed to invoke the spirit of the Anunnaki and other extraterrestrial. Many cults, such as Freemasonry, the Ordo Templi Orientis, and Scientology, claim to be guided by spirits of extraterrestrials, sometimes referred to as the secret chiefs or the hidden masters. Ancient cultures, such as Judaism, were up to their armpits in blood. Their temples had channels cut into the stones where gallons of blood from animals, men, women, and yes, even children would flow and congeal amongst the peasants who paid a few pennies in lieu of slicing the throat of a sacrificial victim themselves. Blood rituals have been performed worldwide since the dawn of time, and even to this day is reenacted in symbolic form via the Catholic Mass of eating and drinking the so-called body of Christ. Black magicians who advocate blood sacrifice, such as Aleister Crowley, who recommended that a 9-year-old child of above average intelligence made the ideal sacrificial candidate, are well aware of the esoteric qualities of blood and the life force. Hot blood, freshly drained from a living creature which has recently passed through the emotionally animated arteries of the heart, actually contains a concentration of the sacred Chi life force. According to black magicians such as Aleister Crowley and Eliphas Levi, the last beat of the heart, the last breath of the victim, carry the soul into the spirit world. Much of the ritual we see in the modern-day Catholic Church, such as the symbolic eating the flesh of Christ and the symbolic drinking of his blood, are derived from ancient Jewish rituals in which different forms of vampirism and blood sacrifice were an accepted part of this occult tradition. After all, the Pope does wear a Jewish yarmulke. Traditionally, the tribe of the Levite priesthood jealously guarded the divine instructions from spirits, which were divined using the ephod, teraphim, Urim, and Thummim. Still, to this day, occult technology is the highest secret of the elite. The ancient crystal technology of the ephod is still in use to this day. The royal political elite wear crowns, which have around their circumference the exact same crystals in the same order as found in the traditional ephod breastplate. Royal crowns are actually ephods which have been fashioned to make direct contact. Many crowns feature the Maltese cross, which is an emblem used worldwide by Satanists, Masonic fraternities, and magicians. The Maltese cross was the first image electronically projected using the cathode ray tube, which was developed in part by Sir William Crookes, who had formerly been a member of the Golden Dawn Secret Society and member of the Society for Psychical Research in London. The Maltese cross is featured in many sigils. Sigils are magical emblems which are etched onto a crystal ball or a black mirror and then stared at by the magician until the face of a spirit appears. In voodoo rituals, very similar sigils are etched into the ground. These are called veves, and these too feature the Maltese cross. Sigils are used to represent the names of spirits, demons, and angels. A crown is really an ephod, which has been made for the head, able to transmit spiritual communications direct into the brain of the king or queen who wears the crown. Crowns are consecrated in special ceremonies called coronations. The British crowns, owned by the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha royal family of Britain, whose family roots are in Bavaria, Germany, are part of an elaborate wardrobe of magical artifacts, which includes ceremonial knives, golden orbs, and even magic wands, which are known as scepters. When the crown is placed on the head of a British royal, prayers and psalms are sung, which proclaim that the crown gives the wearer divine right to rule. The ceremony is an exact copy of the coronation ritual of King Solomon, who was a pre-Kabbalist magician in ancient Israel, an expert at spirit divination and demon worship. Politicians are advancing a global plan. This is the doctrine of Lucifer, which Freemasons, Knights Templar, and members of the Illuminati global network of secret societies follow. Their goal is the total spiritual and ecological destruction of the world. The Illuminati is a global network of witch covens, black magicians, and Freemasons. In 1927, the Society for Psychical Research received reports of a British magician who accidentally summoned an invisible spirit of such immense power that it eventually manifested itself in full view, taking the form of a devil with serpents for hair.
You robber of life. You author of pain. You corrupter of justice and innocence and youth. You begetter of death.
According to the mystical author Helena Blavatsky, the fabled kingdom of Atlantis was destroyed by groups of magicians who summoned demonic forces, eventually destroying a prehistoric civilization, which, some people believe, had crystal, plasma, electrical, and psychic technologies that eventually were used by the pharaohs of Egypt to build awe-inspiring buildings using giant granite blocks which even today's largest cranes would not be able to lift. According to Helena Blavatsky, the technologies used in Egypt were powered by energy drawn directly from the cosmos and the spirit world.
You can suppress the information that people receive in terms of what is possible. You, to the same rate, suppress their perception of what is possible. Okay, now once you have accepted that what we're told is possible is how it is, then you're living in a box that big. So anyone that starts to talk about things that are beyond that perception of possibility, you immediately dismiss them as crazy. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. A few centuries ago, when people said the Earth was a sphere, they were perceived as crazy and dangerous. And one of the reasons was that if you lived on the bottom of a ball, you would fall off, right? Now, once you introduce the law of gravity, what appears at first sight to be a nonsensical idea becomes perfectly logical. However, if you suppress at that time knowledge of the law of gravity, then people are going to dismiss the truth because they can't perceive that the truth can be possible. And when you're talking about entities that shapeshift, that appear and disappear, UFOs that appear and disappear, if you program the population to believe that this world is all there is, that this is a solid world of solid individual objects, then the idea of things appearing and disappearing or shape-shifting from one state to another, to that sense of perception, is totally ludicrous. But once you introduce the suppressed knowledge, which is that this world is not solid, and what we're living in is basically symbolically a radio station, in terms of all the radio and television stations broadcasting to this place now are all existing in the space that I'm sitting in. I can't see them. They are not aware of each other unless they're really close on the dial, because they're on different frequencies. And if I'm on or something else is on a different frequency, a seriously different frequency to that wall, then I can walk through it, or something else can walk through it. Just as if I turn my radio on now, I tune into a radio frequency broadcast that's coming through this wall or this window. And so this reality that we think is so solid and all that there is actually like a radio station. And this physical body, this holographic illusion, locks us in, tunes us in like a radio to this radio station, to this reality. When I said publicly in 1991
that the Earth was a living entity that we could communicate with and could communicate with us, people just dubbed me crazy. And now we're seeing scientists who have studied this coming to the same conclusion.
Yes.
The bottom line is this: everything is conscious. What we call creation is like an ocean of infinite energy, which is manifesting itself in different forms. It's like we may perceive ourselves as droplets, if you like, individuals. But if you put a droplet in the ocean, where does the droplet end and the ocean start? The ocean is the droplet is the ocean, and it's the same with us. You may look as you do, I may look as I do, that wall may look as it does, but they're all expressions of the same energy field, manifesting in different ways. So of course the planet itself is a living, thinking, emotional entity. And we are interacting with that energy field. And one of the things the Illuminati have set out to do and are trying ever more to do in the period we're experiencing now is to bring the vibrational state of the Earth's field, the Earth's consciousness, to as low a point as they can. Because we, as human beings, are living in that energy field. And it's very simple. If you affect the sea, you affect that which lives in the sea. And so the more that they can lower the vibrational state of the planet, the more it becomes, if you like, treacle-like density. The more we living in that energy field are pulled into that state. And when you have the wars and the environmental destruction and all these things that cause tremendous negative emotional energy, then you are lowering the vibrational state of the planet, you're lowering the vibrational state of the people, and you're basically holding them in a vibrational prison, which makes it much more difficult, not impossible, but much more difficult for them to hold connection out into the infinite beyond, where they can be in this world, but not of it in terms of their perspective of reality. If you disconnect people and hold them in this density, hold them in this illusory reality, they are in this world and they are also of it. And therefore, the only information that they have to get a fix on how they see life themselves and reality in general is through the eyes and the ears. And who controls that? The Illuminati control that through what we laughingly call the education system, the mainstream media across the planet. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to disconnect us from multidimensional infinity so that we don't see the world from that perspective and therefore see through the illusion and see through the nonsense and see through the lies. And then once they've disconnected people, they then program this lower level of our consciousness with a reality that suits them. And this is why people who have had a different perspective on life, a different perspective on reality, who have held that connection to some extent out into the infinite, and have expressed that view, expressed that vision of reality and possibility here, they're the ones that are dubbed crazy, lunatics, and dangerous. Why? Not because they are, but because from the point of consciousness that they are perceiving this world, to people who are here, the vast majority, that is just crazy. I mean, if you said to people, is that table solid? They say, of course it is. Well, it isn't. It can't be. It's made of atoms, right? And atoms are not solid. Tell me how it does that. Our minds do that by turning vibrational fields into apparently physical objects. The denser the vibration, the slower the vibration, the more dense that we decode that into what appears to be a physical object. And so someone who's out there and can perceive that sees the world in a completely different way, and because it's different to the norm and the mass norm, which is programmed into people from cradle to grave, they're just isolated and called crazy. When in fact, they're the people we need to listen to.
Yeah.